King, Warrior, Magician, Lover is a book written by Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette. It explains that the masculine rests on 4 archetypes that help men develop a healthy masculinity. Each of these archetypes has 2 negative shadow poles that men embody when they have not well integrated their psychological conditions. The authors explained well what archetypal images are, where they live in the mind, and how to access them. You realize how true the book is when you recognize your own crappy behavior as detailed by the authors. While Models and No More Mr. Nice Guy are great books too, they don't explain how men can change their behaviors and become who they truly are. They remain superficial, dress well, talk to girls. But it won't be enough for most people. King, Warrior, Magician, Lover does the job these books didn't do. We no longer know what it means to be masculine and feminine for 3 reasons. 1. The father has disappeared, divorce, etc., from the home, which prevents the sons from becoming men and the daughters from learning how to relate to men. 2. There are no longer any rituals that transform boys into men. 3. The patriarchy has become an abusive system because it is operated by boys, not men. The path from boyhood to manhood consists of integrating various parts of one's personality during a process, culminating with a ritual event guided by an old wise man. During this ritual, the boy's ego dies, and he becomes a man. Lack of mentors on the one hand, and the disappearance of rituals on the other, make it difficult for boys to become fully integrated men. Luckily, all men have inside their psyche several archetypal images of the masculine. By reconnecting to these images, men can draw on healthy masculine energy and become masculine men. There are 4 healthy boy archetypes that each have their active and passive shadow poles, and 4 healthy men archetypes that each have their active and passive shadow poles. The boy archetypes cannot be erased. Rather, they need to be transcended to access the adult archetypes. The boy archetypes are: 1. The divine child. Like Jesus, he's powerful and fragile. He needs protection from the armies that want to kill him. Oh, the high chair tyrant. The love and care he receives are never enough, so he rejects them, thereby destroying the very thing he needs. Icarus' story, pathological narcissism. Oh, the weakling prince. Overprotected, he needs constant care. Anything is too much for him. 2. The precocious child. He wants to know everything. Oh, the trickster. Envious. He wants to destroy those he sees as better than him. He pretends he is better than he actually is, tricks people, then makes fun of them. Oh, the dummy. He pretends he doesn't understand anything while in fact, he just thinks of himself as too good to reveal who he is. 3. The Oedipal child. He seeks connection to the great mother whose love and nurture he needs. Oh, the mama's boy. Obsessed with getting women's love, he suffers from Don Juan syndrome. Oh, the dreamer. He dreams of love and relationships with real people, but doesn't go and get them. He develops relationships with intangible things as a result. 4. The hero. He thinks of himself as invincible and immortal. He conquers, but he doesn't know what to do with his conquests. He needs to break the bond with the mother and become courageous enough to fight off the villains of life by himself. Oh, the grandstand bully. He gets enraged when his rightful place at the center gets challenged. He mainly seeks to impress others. Oh, the coward. He doesn't stand up for himself and lets himself be abused until he snaps and transforms into the grandstand bully. The hero dies when he encounters humility, knowing one's limits plus asking for help. The masculine archetypes are: the king. He has 2 functions: order and fertility and blessing. The king brings order to his kingdom through the word. He gives blessing, aka validation, and fertility, children, to the land of his kingdom, the queen. When the king falls ill, so does his kingdom. Oh, the tyrant. He identifies with the archetype and refuses to give up power. He fears the youth and vigor of his children that he keeps on belittling. Oh, the weakling. Uncentered and dependent on attention, he underlies the tyrant who attacks anyone he projects his weakness on. The warrior. Aggressive, aware of his death, and with a clear mind, the warrior trains for skill, power, and accuracy. He pushes things forward, he's courageous and takes responsibility. Is loyal to someone and doesn't commit to women. Oh, the sadist. He is afraid of being swallowed by the feminine, as he does not yet trust his own abilities. He enjoys destroying what he sees as soft and feminine because he's scared of it. Oh, the masochist. They abuse themselves hoping this will increase their sense of self-worth. They're not confident, so they seek confidence in something external, workaholics, women-sex addicts, etc. They project their warrior energy onto other people and rely on them for everything. The magician. He knows what others don't and can exploit knowledge and technology. Oh, the detached manipulator. He plays with information for personal gains and manipulates others without them knowing. Oh, the denying innocent one. He wants the power of the magician without making the effort of learning. He's envious of people better and will sabotage them. The lover. He realizes everything is connected to everything and connects to them too. He rejects boundaries and seeks passion in life. He wants to experience the world and all of its senses. He gives meaning to life. Oh, the addicted lover. He seeks the love of the great mother, which is never enough for him. He has no boundaries and won't accept any. Oh, the impotent lover. He lacks liveliness and becomes depressed, alienated from everyone. You can access these archetypes with 4 different techniques. 1. Active imagination dialogue. Engage those voices in your head live or through writing. Understand they just want to be noticed and understood, and that they won't bother you anymore after that. 2. Invocation. Choose an image representing an archetype and ask it to give you the power of the archetype within you. 3. Admiring men. Read biographies of great men that embodied one or several archetypes well. 4. Acting as if. Fake it till you make it. Conclusion. Accessing the archetypal powers of the mature masculine. There has never been a time when the mature archetypes of the masculine were dominant. However, there used to be structures, systems, and symbols that evoked a greater level of masculinity. All that has changed now, cashed in for personal wealth and self-aggrandizement, the currency of the day. Our world needs the masculine energy more than ever. Here's how you can access this masculine energy. Techniques. The first thing to do is an honest self-appraisal. The question isn't whether the shadow archetypes show up in your life, but to what extent do they do? Let us remember that the key to maturity, to moving from boy psychology to man psychology, is to become humble, to be grasped by humility. True humility means knowing our limitations and getting the help we need. 1. Active imagination dialogue. In this technique, the conscious ego enters into dialogue with various unconscious entities. Behind these lie the archetypes. We sometimes do things we don't mean and fail to do things we want to do. Why? Because of these shadow archetypes. In active imagination dialogue, we talk with these archetypes and listen to their reply. It's best to carry the dialogue in writing. If the archetype is really combative, it's best to reach a truce or a consensus and talk to a therapist. If you somehow talk to several archetypes at the same time, treat them all like you would a board meeting. The more you talk to yourself, the more likely you are to discover the answers you are looking for. What these shadow archetypes want is to be listened, noticed, and taken seriously. Once it's the case, they no longer need to act out in our lives. 2. Invocation. Invocation comes down to closing your eyes and calling on the images you desire to see. Imaging deeply affects our moods, our attitudes, the way we look at things, and what we do. It's therefore important to invoke the right images. 1. Find a quiet place. 2. Clear up your mind. 3. Focus on an image that has mental pictures and spoken words. King, warrior, magician, lover. 4. Choose the image. Focus on it. Talk to the image. If it's the image of the king, call him up inside yourself. 5. Merge your deep unconscious with the king. 6. Realize that you are different from him. Your ego should serve him, not become him. 7. Tell him that you need him, that you need his help, his power, his favor, his orderliness, his manliness. 8. Keep a reminder of these archetypes in your daily life. 3. Admiring men. Mature men need to admire other men, living and dead. We need to be in touch with older men, and if they are not available, we need to read their biographies. For the warrior, read the stories of Ramses II, King Sechueo, or George Patton. For the king, read the stories of Lincoln or Ho Chi Minh. For the lover, read Leo Buscaglia. The images and thoughts we invoke don't only change how things look, it also changes how they are. E.g., you start meeting many girls when you invoke the lover. For acting as if you can't feel like you are somebody, act like him. Fake until you make it. If you need the lover, go out and force yourself to enjoy the sunset. If you need the warrior, go out and learn a martial art. If you need the magician, act as if you really have wisdom. Final word, it is time for men, particularly the men of Western civilization, to stop accepting the blame for everything that is wrong in the world. Men should never feel apologetic about their gender. Don't forget that transformative movements take time and effort.